registered dietitian and you are watching Dietitian Talk. Thank you for joining me. I do want to start off by saying, please, if you find these videos beneficial, please go ahead, share them with social media on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. I appreciate the love. It helps me out a lot, and I'll keep making them for you as long as people keep liking them. So I do want to start off by saying every registered dietitian is a little bit different. We all kind of think different things. We learn the same basic information in school, but we all kind of have our own thoughts on things that we buy into or maybe don't buy into. For this video, I want to talk a little bit about the misinformation that's out there for consumers. I've mentioned this in some of my other videos. The information that's out there on YouTube, on the internet, newspapers, magazines, it's everywhere. There's just nutrition information everywhere you go. Videos, there's documentaries, books, the works, and it all contradicts itself, and it makes it very challenging for people, even dietitians. I talk about this with my colleagues all the time. It's even challenging for us at times to kind of weed through what's real and what's not and really help, give you guys, give the public, give our patients good information that's practical and, easy to do. So for this video, I want to kind of share with you what I think are my personal top 5 worst offenders of healthy eating concepts that I hear people say or speak about. So let's get into it. My first one, and this has been pretty much my mindset as a dietitian ever since I started in the field, is that there's no good or bad foods. And that's something, if you kind of get in tune with it a little bit more, you will notice people refer to things as good or bad in terms of your food quite frequently. And I'm not saying I'm guilty of this as well, but what I think is you guys should be a little bit more mindful of it and think about it. Anytime you say something's a bad food, kind of gives you this guilty context to feel along with it. So I'm not saying that French fries aren't high in fat and sodium, and maybe ice cream isn't high in sugar, and maybe eating a piece of fruit versus a hot dog is a better decision. But what I am saying is try to change your mindset and not think about things and compartmentalize things as good or bad or a cheat or a reward, and just try to throw that terminology out. And I think that it sounds very simple, but it can be very empowering. And I know for myself, not doing competitions this past year, I really had to find my balance. And a lot of it was about the mental part of things and just the way you think about things. So really try not to call foods good or bad. Food is food, and you should eat with pleasure. Eating food should not be a guilty experience, whether you're eating my favorite, which is a hot dog, or whether you're eating a salad. Eat for your body's fuel, eat for your needs, and also have some enjoyment with it. So that's the first thing I would say to try to get people to stop saying if you can. The second thing I want to talk about is the second misconception that's still very new, and again, I'm guilty for it, is let's talk about clean eating. And I'm doing a lot of air quotes probably for this video. Clean eating. So, and you'll see in past videos I talk about clean eating constantly. But let's think about that a little bit, and that terminology, again, that's used. What is clean eating? They don't teach about it when you go to school to be a registered dietitian. There is really no definition for clean eating. You can do a Google search, you'll find different opinions on what clean eating is or what it entails, but there's no set definition as to this is clean eating, this is what it requires or doesn't require. There's a lot of different fads out there, there's different books on it and things like that. What I don't like about clean eating is that it kind of gives off the impression that if you're not eating what these quote-unquote clean foods are, then what? Everything else you're eating is dirty? It just it gives off that feeling that, anything else that you're eating that's not clean is not good. And it kind of goes along a little bit with the good or bad foods. Along with clean eating, like I said, there's no real definition, so even food marketers now are picking up on clean eating, and you'll see some advertising of made with clean ingredients. well, you just got had, okay? Because there's no definition of that, so you really don't know. What does that mean? The other thing I'll say about it too is I believe it's expensive for this quote-unquote clean eating, you know, which truly for the most part means you're eating more whole foods. What I think it means and what you see out there is that you're eating more whole foods, unprocessed foods, maybe even organic, things like that. So I think that's the general definition of it, but why can't we just call that healthy eating? I mean, that's pretty much what it's been for years. Why does it now have to get turned into a fad diet that even I myself bought into as a competitor? Why does it have to be called that? Why do we have to put these little nutrition labels on everything? I'm so tired of all of that. So I say throw that terminology out. Again, I do believe it's very expensive to eat clean. Okay, if we're talking about eating whole foods, even organic in its natural state, as much as that's great to eat, there's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong there, it's expensive. And not a lot of people, not everyone can afford to eat clean. So then people have these feelings of shame that, well, they can't afford to eat it. Also, the clean eating can be very inconvenient. Let's be honest, okay? Most of us as competitors who are watching this video, you know going into a competition, you know, that lifestyle is not convenient by any means. So when you travel, go out with friends, things like that, yeah, you're packing your 6-pack bag or your little grocery bag of Tupperwares or what have you. It's not convenient, it's not easy to do, it's very complicated. And that's for very educated people and even people who make a decent amount of money. It's expensive and it's complicated. The other thing with clean eating is just because you're a clean eater or you eat clean, it doesn't mean you're eating a balanced diet. And I think that's key, and you guys have probably heard me say that throughout my videos. Just because you're eating clean doesn't mean you're eating balanced, doesn't mean you're getting in all the nutrients you need. Some clean eating diets omit entire food groups such as dairy. So just because you're a clean eater doesn't mean you are eating healthy and for balance. So just be careful there and maybe think about it a little bit more when you're talking to clean eaters or labeling yourself as a clean eater. And actually the other thing I want to throw out there too, just being an avid, obsessed Instagram lover that I am, I kind of see this fight on Instagram and social media, in particular with competitors, you know, the clean eaters versus the if it fits your macro or people. It's almost like, hi, I'm better than you because I eat clean. And I'm just saying that's the impression I get. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not saying just because you eat clean you're like that. But I see a lot of that on Instagram. It's kind of negative, and it's almost like talking down to people. Like, I eat clean, that's the best approach, and psh, to you people that don't eat clean. Maybe I'm the only one that sees that, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. For those of you that are on Instagram and follow social media, it's kind of this connotation with clean eating, and I don't like that. It shouldn't be that way. Like I said, it might make other people feel shameful that can't afford it or, you know, aren't able to do so. So be careful with that terminology. The next healthy eating concept that I want to talk about is low carb, which I think that's died down a little bit. I don't hear it as much, but it wasn't that long ago that I just had someone tell me they eat low carb. And the thing that bothers me with low carb as a healthy eating concept is a lot of people don't know what it means and don't know what it entails. And again, I think a lot of my followers on here do, because you guys are very mindful of your food choices, but typically when someone says they're on a low carb diet, I ask them what that means for them, because they might think they're on low carb because, well, I don't eat breads and I don't eat crackers or I don't eat cereal or pasta. I'm like, okay, but there's carbohydrates in almost everything, and sometimes people don't think about that. You know, there's carbohydrates in yogurt and any of our dairy products. That's lactose. There's carbohydrates in all fruits and all our vegetables, and sometimes people don't think about that either. So they're on a low carb diet, but it's very hard to eat a low carb diet without omitting all your food groups aside from eating straight up meat and fat, which is not balanced and is not the way to go. So that's probably the other thing that annoys me, but not as much recently. The next thing is probably the whole gluten-free fad, which you guys can go check out my other video where I go off on that for like 12 or 15 minutes or something crazy like that. But the thing with gluten-free, oh, I'm gluten-free. Are you? Why? Most people who tell me they're gluten-free do not have celiac disease or don't even say that they're gluten sensitive. But it's a very small amount of the population, and there's not a lot of research out there right now to support doing so unless you're found to have one of those diagnoses. So the people that are gluten-free, man, you are getting had by those food marketers because it is expensive. It doesn't necessarily mean you're eating healthy or balanced, and it's just not necessary. So I ask you to rethink that if you're gluten-free. And my final food, healthy food concept that drives me nuts, and I hear it and I've heard it ever since I've been a dietitian, is I don't eat fruit, or fruit's too high in sugar. Fruit's too high in sugar. That one just it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. That one drives me nuts. So fruit's too high in sugar, huh? Well, fruit, as you know, yes, it has sugar in it, but the sugar that's in fruit is a natural source of fruit. It's not the same as eating a candy bar, okay? There's two different types of sugars there. Fruit does have natural sugar in it, so yes, it's got sugar, but it also has a whole host of other great benefits to it. It's a nutritional powerhouse, in my opinion. Anytime you're eating fruit, you're getting some type of other good nutrition from it. Oftentimes, you're definitely going to get a lot of vitamin C, and you're going to get a lot of fiber, depending on what you're choosing. Other fruits out there, like berries, you can watch my superfoods video, or even things like grapes are rich in antioxidants, which are amazing for disease prevention and keeping our bodies healthy, and things like vitamin K. So fruit hosts a whole bunch of health benefits. So yes, you're getting some sugar from it, but your body does need sugar. And you know, we're born, from the time we're born, most people do have that taste that we like sweet foods. It's just how we're all born. You know, it's rare you might meet someone that doesn't like anything sweet. So we all just have that taste there for things that are sweet. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to feel guilty over that you have a quote-unquote sweet tooth. It's okay. So if you want, choose an apple over a candy bar, that's a great choice, that's fine. But it's okay to have fruit in your diet. So think about that if you hear people saying that fruit's too high in sugars. I encourage you to challenge that idea and maybe give them a little bit of education. That pretty much sums it up. I could probably go on, but those are my top 5 offenders of healthy eating concepts. Again, these are just my opinions and beliefs as a registered dietitian in my practice. I hope that you share this video with others, get other people thinking about it, and I just kind of challenge you guys to think about your mindset and how you're labeling foods, labeling your own diet. You know, live your life. You don't need to be, your whole life doesn't need to revolve around your diet or your food label or whatever, you know. It's about healthy eating and balance. I hope this video was helpful to you and informational. Please give it a thumbs up and keep checking back for more. Hey everyone, it's Kara here, and I wanted to do a video today talking about probably one of the most common messages that I've gotten sent since I've started this YouTube. And that question being, how to become a dietitian. A lot of people message me, ask me how I became a